Hey everyone, I'm taking a look at the new Nominating contract pack on eFootball. It's called Signature Goal Celebrations. I've already reviewed this week's regular Player of the Week pack. I did that live on stream and I've made that review live as a standalone video as well. If you want to check that review out, I'll be getting onto the Champions League Player of the Week pack at some point over the next few days as well, so keep your eyes out for that. I've already reviewed, I've already uploaded the first player face video from the update. I've done the European clubs, and as always, the other ones will follow. I'll move on to North and South American clubs next, as and when I get time. But yeah, for this one, as always, there'll be timestamps in the description for each player. So if there's a particular player you want to hear about, click in the description. There'll be a link to take you straight to them. And as always seems to be the case for this kind of main quote-unquote pack, non-end contract pack, we've got 6 5-stars and a couple of 4-stars. So let's start with the 4 stars, and let's start with Ismael Saibari. So, pardon me, this guy plays for PSV, so straight away there's a negative. They're not. He's not going to be eligible for any of the main league challenges. He's got a face scan. He's a creative playmaker. Got a bunch of positions he can play. Unwavering form, so there's some positives. Skill set. He's only got 8 skills there, but he's got most of the important ones, I think, for most of his positions that he's got, really. As a right footer, if you're going to play him on the right, you probably want pinpoint crossing, so you could argue that's missing if you're going to play him there. But through the centre, long range shooting, a first time shot, through passing, weight pass. Just a few he's missing. Maybe he's a long range curler. Maybe a one touch pass would be a nice one. But you can't put skills on his cards. Obviously, you can train him. But yeah, let's train this guy up. Let's see how good he is. Let's jump over to the hub for that. So here he is on the hub, and he is very much a 4-star. Not a bad one though, to be fair. It's going to depend where you play him. 84 for low pass, fully boosted as an attack midfielder is bad. So that's one negative already, but he's looking pretty nice on the ball. Attack awareness is decent for an attack midfielder. Bit of pace about him. A little bit of strength, even though his balance isn't amazing. Stamina's not amazing. Yeah, it is very much a 4-star card, but it's not a bad one. I think it's just one where, as is pretty much almost always the case with a 4-star, you're just going to have to pick and choose which areas he's going to be lacking a bit, because you're not going to make him good in every area. Obviously, he's just not going to be good enough overall. We have actually had some Saibari cards previously. We've had a Player of the Week card and a highlight card. Sadly, both are better than this one, especially the Player of the Week one. Interestingly, he's got 2 GP cards, similar to what they've done pretty much all along for a lot of Asian players. There's been like a version for the Asian kind of whatever the Asian, what's it called, the Asian Cup or whatever. They've done the same for AFCON now, so a lot of African players who are AFCON, or I guess pretty much all of them, they've got a GP card for AFCON, and they've got a GP card for their club, which is kind of strange. And what's extra strange is that his AFCON GP card has a few more points on some of his attacking stats than his PSV GP card, even though it's the same player. So yeah, that's a bit weird. But yeah, in terms of the way they boost him from his GP card or cards, it's a mixed boost, as it often seems to be the case these days with highlight cards. It used to be very different. Highlight cards, they used to have a very uniform boost. They'd all the stats would go up by like 2 or 3 or whatever, and then it'd just be one stat that go up by like 5 or 6. Whereas now it's very mixed, which is good. A bit more variety, but yeah, not a mixed boost as usual. Dribbling, type, possession, balance, probably the biggest boost, especially from his PSV card. Actually, it's the same. Those stats haven't been changed across his GP cards. It's a few other attacking stats that are a bit higher on his AFCON one. But yeah, compared to both his GP cards, dribbling, type, possession, balance are the biggest boosts. Balance, he needed it, obviously, because that's still not particularly great. But yeah, it's, like I say, not as good as the 2 previous kind of special versions we've had, the Player of the Week and the highlight, but it's a decent 4-star. But the question is where you're going to use him, and how you're going to train him for that position, because auto allocation as attack midfielder, to me, tells me his passing is not good enough. He's got through passing, which is probably the most important passing stat, but he could do with one-touch pass as well. Could you spare some points to get his passing up a bit? You can nick a bit off his on-the-ball attributes, but not a great deal. 85 still. I mean, this is fully boosted in your game plan. You need more than that. I'd like that to be up towards 90. I mean, it's through passing. With the through passing skill will be alright, because obviously through passing, unless it's changed at some point over the past year, it adds roughly 20%, I think, to your low pass attribute when you play a through pass. But obviously not all your passes are going to be through passes, or at least I hope not, because if you're one of these guys who just spams through passes all game, then I hate you. But yeah, certainly for through passes you can get away with that for his low pass, but like I say, not every pass is a through pass, so you do need that low pass to be a bit higher for an attacking midfielder, in my opinion. I think, honestly, I would probably just maybe do that. Is that worth doing? Yeah, I would probably just do that, I think. That doesn't look too exciting. You've not got anything over the 90 mark, but he's still going to be decent on the ball. But getting that low pass up as an attack midfielder, I think, is crucial. I think that's very important. The finishing's kind of okay-ish, not amazing. Decent attacking race, as I mentioned. He's got a bit of pace about him as well. Certainly the acceleration's pretty decent. Bit of strength there, but to be honest, nothing done right. It's too amazing. So yeah, as an attack midfielder, to me, he's looking pretty meh. He's not looking great. He's not looking disastrous. Some 4-star cards really don't look too great. This one might not look brilliant, but I think for 4-star, it's kind of okay. Not brilliant, but not terrible either. And he does have other positions. In terms of other positions, you could argue that the passing is less important if you push him a bit further forward as an SS. In fact, before I do that, I'll just rule out centre mid. He's not going to be able to make him good enough defensively. There's no defensive skills there. Centre midfield, and especially defensive midfield for me on this guy, would just be a complete waste of time. But if we pushed him further up the pitch as an SS, if you took a few back from passing there, you might want to just make him a bit better on the ball again. 3 points left. Maybe stick it on low body. Maybe a bit more attacking awareness might make sense. Yeah, again, though, does he look great? He doesn't look too bad for a 4-star, but you would have to be extra careful with that passing. But yeah, apart from that, it does look alright. It does look alright for a 4-star, to be fair. So as an SS just behind the attack, if you're careful enough with the passing, yeah, you could do alright for it. You could do a job. And then in terms of other positions, as I mentioned initially before we came onto the hub, if you're going to play him on the right as a right footer, you would probably want pinpoint crossing. He is quite two-footed, to be fair, but you'd probably want pinpoint crossing. If you gave him pinpoint crossing, then how good would his crossing be? You know, even going up to 8 on passing there, 76 lofted pass. He's not got a lot of curl at all. Yeah, he's not going to be great crossing him no matter what. So I'm not sure playing him on the right is going to be the best way to use him. From the left, though, he does have long range shooting, first time shot, but long range curler would help. If you gave him long range curler, that would make a difference. He's still not going to have an amazing shot on him. But if you consider that passing is not as important, if you're going to use him as a kind of inverted winger and focus on trying to score goals with him, you can get the finishing up to 80. Yeah, I'd be inclined to probably just do that, to be honest. He could be decent that way, actually, coming off the left wing. You would have to position train him. He is a bit lacking in pace, especially speed. So again, it's a 4-star card. There's going to be 1 or 2 areas of his attributes that will be lacking no matter what. But certainly, depending how you train him, it's possible you could use him off the left wing and you could get some joy out of him. He could be all right. Although you could make him a wide left forward in your game plan and then just change his position to SS. To be honest, in my opinion, you'd be just as well doing that. I am planning to get back onto those videos showing how players play without an active playing style soon, so watch out for some of those soon. I'll be starting on centre mid. Already did centre back, full backs, defensive mids, but yeah, I will get onto those soon. But in my experience, I think that would work fine. I don't think you need to position train him if he's going to be a wide forward. Just make him a wide SS on the left, and like I say, it would be worth giving him long range curlers still, but could do a job for you. But like I say, he's still very much a 4-star. He's going to be lacking in 1 or 2 areas. And then you just got centre forward. Can you make him a centre forward? I'll just go to auto allocation because I think it's an obvious one. Yeah, that's a no. Finishing 82 fully boosted, yikes, not very good. And that's with 10 on his shooting there. So I think you forget about this guy as a centre forward. He is fully proficient now, ready, to be fair. He does have first time shot. So yeah, in some ways he's kind of ready to play that position. And maybe could we beef that shooting up a bit more? I don't know, it's not looking too great. You're already up to 12 in dexterity and fully boosted 85 attacking race is not great. So yeah, it's a real stretch. If you were really, really desperate any given week, maybe you could do a job. But as I mentioned initially, PSV, you're not going to be able to use this guy in any of the regular league challenges. Maybe now and then in like a Champions League one, for example, but there's limited use for this guy. So yeah, he's only a 4-star. Lack of uses for him based on league challenges, but for a 4-star, he's not bad. If you've got 4 stars to use up, especially if you don't get to do the league challenges that relate to the nominating contract packs from Japan, from the Turkish league, the Brazilian league, then he could be an option. He doesn't look bad at all for a 4-star. I'll leave my AMF auto allocation there just to finish up. But yeah, like I say, he is a 4-star. So however you train him, whatever position you use him in, he's going to be lacking in 1 or 2 areas. But I don't think he's a bad 4-star, even if he's not a brilliant one. He's certainly got some qualities. He looks like he will be decent on the ball. He does have some good skills there. So yeah, for a 4-star contract, if you got one to use up, you could certainly do a lot worse. So not a brilliant card, but certainly not a bad one, and it could be worth considering. Right, let's look at our other 4-star. We've got Tanaka. Plays for Leeds these days, so he's got a face scan, of course, because he's Japanese. He's an Anchorman. It's not always been an Anchorman. We've had box-to-box versions of him as well. So Anchorman DMF this time. Again, this guy's got 2 GP cards. That's the same kind of thing to the AFCON thing. It's always been the case with a lot of Asian players, though, whose nations compete in the kind of Asian Cup, whatever it's called. So yeah, it's 2 GP cards. In this case with Tanaka, those 2 GP cards are actually very different because one of them is a box-to-box. This is a DMF Anchorman. That's what one of his GP cards is. But one of his GP cards is actually a box-to-box, and it's got less skills than this one, than the other GP card. So one of his GP cards has the exact same profile to this one, position, playing style, and skills and stuff. The other one's a box-to-box with less skills. Thankfully, this card is based on his GP card that has more skills. So that's a plus. But yeah, another mixed boost again as well. They've taken a couple of points off his heading, level 1, 1 point off his defensive awareness. Why? Why? He's an Anchorman. Why have you taken a point away from his defensive awareness? But they boosted him on the ball, finishing, a bunch of his athletic stats, including his physical contact, which is a good one to boost. And yeah, as I mentioned with the skills, you've got a bunch of skills here. 1 touch and through, weighted. Some nice ones there on the ball. And then defensively, man marking, session, fighting spirit. So has he got every skill that you'd want him to have? Maybe not. As an Anchorman, I would like blocker on there. Some people might like an aerial superiority on there as well. But it's a pretty good set to start off with. And again, you can put skills in these cards. You can train them. So yeah, let's jump over to the top and see how good this Tanaka card actually is then. Again, he is a 4-star. I'm not expecting a great deal, but yeah, as is always the case for Tanaka, even with the boost on his physical contact for an Anchorman, that physical contact is low. Apart from that, though, he actually looks okay. He doesn't look bad at all for a 4-star. This guy looks like he could be a pretty decent value card for a 4-star. We have had quite a few Tanaka cards. He measures up all right to a couple of his older highlight cards, but if you look at all his highlight cards since then, including his recent one from a Premier League pack and also Player of the Week card, a lot of them are better than this one. So it's not the best Tanaka card, but yeah, like I say, apart from that physical contact being too low, down the right, Evans is looking okay. Down the middle, does he look amazing? No. Does he look bad? No, he looks okay. And then down the left, though, he's not great on the ball, but his passing's kind of okay. You're just about in +3 territory there. If I just toggle the boost on and off, you see he's when you get to 84 with an 89 rated manager, at least you're going +3. You're okay with that passing there. Just have to be careful with it. It's borderline. I would like a bit more, but for a 4-star card, I don't think you can really complain, especially on an Anchorman, a proper defensive midfielder. So yeah, I think for a 4-star, he's looking all right. Like I said, with the skills, I would like blocker on there. For a DMF, I think that's quite important. But you got man marking, interception, fighting spirit's important. And on the ball, as I mentioned, with the passing skills there, he's pretty well equipped. So yeah, I think for a 4-star contract, you could do a lot worse than this guy. If you rock a Japan squad, could be a really handy pickup. For your English League squad as well, if you like an Anchorman, could definitely do a job. So yeah, in terms of the way the points are allocated, I'll just do a couple of builds as a DMF because I know a lot of people on the DMF don't really care so much about these technicals. They just figure it's more important to be able to defend and stuff. So you might want to just nick some of passing there. Maybe stick them straight onto physical contact. Not shy of the 80 mark there. Could you maybe get one more on there? You really want to hit that 80 mark. It's not a magic threshold by any means, but yeah, is that worth it? Don't know. Not so sure. But if you really want to focus on the defensive and physical side of it, and you're really not too bothered about how good he is on the ball, because a lot of people really don't mind those stats being quite low, as far as I can see in the community for a defensive midfielder, similar to fullbacks. So certainly defensive fullbacks at least. So yeah, you might want to do that. Give him a bit more physical strength. Just noticed they've gone up to 13 on defending. Crikey, is that worth doing? It's not the most efficient way to build him, is it? You could put some of those points back on his technicals, to be honest. Yeah, maybe something like that. But yeah, if you want to do a build that's more of an all-round build, you're not too worried about the physical contact. You want to be as a DMF, will always be an anchor, but we'll do a build that'll be either for a double pivot or a centre midfielder. We'll give him a bit of everything. So if we took a bit away from the defending, we don't worry so much about the physical contact. We'll leave the stamina where it is. The speed and kick and power fine. Does need a bit more dexterity, mainly for that attacking awareness. I think I'll just do that. Nice even build there. Loads of 8s and a 4. Yeah. Does it look amazing? No. But could you do a job for you in a double pivot or as a kind of as a centre midfielder where you won't have an active playing style? Anchorman's not active CMF, so as an all-rounder in the middle of the park, he could do a job. Could I be any kinder than that? Not really, because he's not brilliant defensively. These technicals certainly aren't too bad, but none of them are particularly great. This is fully boosted, remember. The attacking awareness and finishing suck. He's lacking a bit of physical contact. So, yeah, not terrible, not brilliant either. But as an all-rounder in the middle of the park, if you don't really want an anchorman to sit in front of your defence, you like your midfielders to be a bit more mobile, getting up and down. Like I say, in any kind of double pivot or as a centre midfielder, yeah, he could do a job for you. He could be an option. Attacking midfield? When has Tanaka ever played attacking midfield? Interesting. Well, let's build him for attacking midfield anyway, though. So you can get low pass up to 90. That's probably just about what you can do, really, isn't it? You can't do a lot more, yeah. So he's not going to be amazing on the ball for an attacking mid. And again, the attacking awareness and finishing suck. Are you going to train this card to play attacking midfield? Let's be honest, you're not, are you? But you can make his passing pretty decent, to be fair, if nothing else. But yeah, I don't think many people are going to waste their position trainers doing that. Wide midfielder? Should we make Tanaka a cross spammer? No. Is it? I mean, I wouldn't. There's not a lot you can really do there. You can't really afford to make him much worse on the ball. You can't really afford to take much pace away. Sorry. Lofted 83. He's not got pinpoint crossing, is he? Even if you're getting pinpoint crossing, his crossing wouldn't be great. So, yeah, is it worth making this guy a right winger? No. Left winger when he's not going to be able to finish to save his life. I mean, if he took a lot of points of passing, we can get his finishing to 80. Wow. Okay. I mean, do you want to do that? You got long range shooting. You could give him long range curler as well. Tanaka left midfield? No, same thing. I'm just going to show you. I always do. I'll show you whatever positions you can possibly train him in. He wouldn't be too bad, but I don't think many people are going to do that. I think most people are going to see this guy as some kind of centre mid or defensive mid. Probably in most cases an anchor man at defensive midfield. But you do have one more position. Could he be a sneaky centre back? I've not checked yet. I'm going to guess not quite. I think the physical contact's going to hold him back. Yeah, it is. So defensively, not too bad, to be fair. The awareness is a little bit lacking. The others are looking great. Obviously, down the left is nice for a centre-back. You expect that because he's primarily a midfielder. But, yeah, that physical contact, 80 fully boosted, you're going to get bullied at centre-back, unfortunately, especially if your opponent's got big strikers. Can you do much with his physical contact? Not really. Yeah, I mean, it's another one where if you were really, really desperate in any given week, you could maybe do a job, but blocker becomes an even more important skill. Aerial superiority as well. You need the position trainers, and even if you shuffle a few points around, the physical contact's still going to be lacking. That's fully boosted, remember. So yeah, not much of a sneaky centre-back, sadly, but just to leave him on DMF, I'll leave him on auto allocation there. As a 4-star, I think it could be decent value. In general, if you ignore the 4-star thing, obviously the only relevance of 4 stars, 5 stars is just what kind of contract you're going to use on them. It's not like we have any modes where you can use low rated cards or anything like that. But for a 4-star contract, if you need someone, this guy, I think for a 4-star is decent value. I think Saibari is decent value as well, but this guy could definitely do a job. If you like an anchor man, it's just the physical contact that's really going to hold him back a bit. But outside of that, there's nothing disastrously low. Maybe he's not great on the ball. Maybe, as you could say, he needs a bit more defensive awareness. But for a 4-star contract, I don't think you can ask for a great deal more. So yeah, if an anchorman works for you, if you rock a Japan squad especially, and as an option for your English League squad, decent skills as well. I think for a 4-star, this guy as an anchorman could represent decent value for you. Right, onto the 5 stars. And we got Joshua Zirkzee. We got a few versions of this guy. So he's got a face scan, he's got cool hair. He's a deep line forward. That's what he usually is. Hasn't always been a deep line forward. He was a dummy runner at some point. I think when he was at Bologna. So yeah, had a lot of versions of Zirkzee. We'll get onto the boost before we compare to other versions. But in terms of the boost, it's another one of these mixed boosts, and it's another one where they've nerfed his heading and jumping a bit. They've taken 2 off his heading, and they've taken 3 off his jumping compared to his GP card. Why? Why? Why do they keep doing that? I mean, they've nerfed heading from crosses as much as enough already. I mean, I don't know how many headers from crosses I've missed. I think in the last month, certainly I don't really play online much these days. But when I had a crack at divisions to get my Tonali card, in total, I don't know how many headers I did from crosses. Must have been 20, 30, and I think one of them went on target, and even that didn't go in. But still, they feel the need to nerf the heading and jumping on so many highlight cards these days, and player of the week cards. But yeah, we've lost 2 points off heading, we've lost 3 off jumping. Nice boost on his tight possession. They boosted his low pass, his speed, his kicking power. They're among the most boosted stats. And then skill-wise, nothing changed. I don't think any of these cards have had any skills added or removed. But skill-wise, you've got a decent selection of skills here. Perhaps not every skill that you'd want on a striker. Long range curl is probably one of the ones most people would want added, but we've got first time shot, probably the most important one. We've got one touch pass and through passing. They are important on deep line forward. So they go well with that playing style. We don't always get deep line forwards with all the skills that you'd want on them. He's a super sub as well. We've got acrobatic finishing. Don't always get that on strikers, especially in player of the week. Soul control. Yeah, you got a decent selection of skills there. Like I said, I think long range curler, probably on the first ones you want to put on him. Maybe it's heading, albeit they don't want this one to be good at heading for some reason. But yeah, let's go train him up. Let's get over to the hub and let's see how good this Zirkzee card is. Like I say, we've had quite a few. So all fully trained up and boosted. First thing to note, that finishing is not great, is it? Ouch. So yeah, we've had a couple of player of the week cards of Zirkzee since he's been at Man U. They're both better than this one. His player of the week card when he was at Bologna was a dummy runner. Not quite as good as this one overall, but it was a dummy runner. So it's a very different playing style to deep line forward. Deep line forwards will drop deep into the build up and be a bit later, make their runs a bit later into the box. Dummy runners just go darting off in random directions to doing their own thing. I do like a dummy runner. I've said that many times. We've had a couple of free highlight versions of Zirkzee, about the same level as this one, to be honest. One's a fox in the box though. Again, very different playing style to deep line forward. All of his other highlights, to be honest, look better than this, including one dummy runner. So yeah, we've had a lot of Zirkzee cards. Looks like most of them are better than this one, unfortunately. We've had a couple of free ones, so this is the first and probably not the last time in this video that I'm going to say this isn't a great choice. I wish they would stop giving us cards that we've already had a million times. Zirkzee is not the worst case of that. We've not had that many versions of him, but we've had a couple of free ones. So, you know, why give us him in another pack when you know, we would much rather have cards that we've not already had a chance to get. You know, if there's been a free, and especially if there's been more than one free version of him, like, who's going to want this card? People who started playing the game last week? Okay, but what about everyone else? I don't think it's a good choice. But anyways, let's get to looking at how good he is. And like I say, yeah, that finishing, that's the concern straight away. He is a deep line forward, so it's not as important as a goal poacher, for example, but it's still important. He's still a striker. And 84 fully boosted. Again, I'm talking on and off there. 82 before the boost, 84 fully boosted. It's crap. It's not good enough for a striker. On the ball, he's kind of all right. I would like him to be a bit better, a bit more dribbling maybe for a deep line forward. His passing, I mean, if he was a poacher or a fox, you'd say that's decent for a low pass, but for a deep line forward, it's okay. I would like it to be around the 80 mark, to be honest, for a deep line forward. So yeah, could be worse, to be fair. And he's got one touch pass and through passing, remember. So yeah, has he got track back? I didn't see that on in game. I need to check that actually. Hang on. Has he got track back? Oh, it's the eFootball Hub was wrong. That's interesting. So he's not got track back, so there's an error on eFootball Hub for a change. Right. So yeah, you've got one touch pass and through passing though. Those are actually correct skills. He does have those. And yeah, there are some qualities. He's got a bit of pace about him. He's got a bit of strength about him as well. Sadly, not a lot of balance. So yeah, he's not going to feel too nice on the ball. Not great on the ball attributes. Not great balance. You'd like him to be a bit better on the ball as a deep line forward because he's going to come short and get involved in the build up a little bit. So that's a bit of a negative to him as well as his finishing. So yeah, it's not an amazing version of Zirkzee. And like I say, we've had a bunch of other versions of him that are better and a couple of free ones that are around about as good as this one, really. So some qualities there, but some stats not so great. We're on to the 5 stars now, remember. Is this guy worth a 5-star contract? I'm really not convinced personally. But yeah, like I said, there are some qualities. He's quite two-footed as well there. In terms of shuffling points around, can you improve him a bit? I mean, it's the finishing you've got to boost a bit. I mean, even if you just do that, you're up to 12 in shooting now. The next increase in shooting is going to cost you 4 points. Is there any point? Not really. Yeah, I don't think there's a great deal you can really do with this guy. And even if you made him a bit better in the air in terms of winning headers, his heading is 72. He's not got the heading skill. He's never going to be particularly good in the air. Is it worth trying to make his passing a bit better? Can you throw up a few points there? Get him up to 80 almost? Yeah, you can do that. Yeah, to be honest, I'd be tempted to do something like that, really. But it's kind of similar to a 4-star card because you can't make him good enough in every area. For a 5-star card, you want him to at least be all right in every area. But it's kind of the same case as 4 stars. Whatever way you train a 4-star card, it always tends to be 1 or 2 areas of their stats where you can't quite get them as high as you want them to be, and that's what's happening here. So it's not a great 5-star card, this, to me. Obviously, for Man U fans, if you somehow don't already have a Zirkzee card, or if you're just a fan of this guy, or if you just like deep line forwards, especially one with their kind of big, physically strong kind of profile, It could be an appealing card, but it's not the best version of him, and I don't think it's a great card in general. And like I said, the finishing holds him back the most. He can shuffle some points around. He can focus more on his passing ability. Maybe he can certainly do worse. He does have that physical strength. He does have some good skills. He's quite two-footed, and he could be an option for your English League Challenge squad. But yeah, on the whole, like I say, the finishing primarily. But whatever way you train him, there's one or two stats that just aren't quite high enough really to make him particularly good. In terms of other positions, if you made him an SS, it's not a particularly different story. The build I just did where I got his low pass to 80 would probably work well there. Is it worth position training to do that though? I don't think so. And as a wide forward, as a right footer, I think you're going to put him on the left. I mean, you're not going to put him on the right and whip some crosses in, are you? Let's be honest. But on the left, is it worth the position trainers? Can you make him good enough to do that? I'm going to guess no. No, you can't really. Not much more you can do really there, is there? No. Does that appeal to you as a wide forward? No, the dribbling's not great. He's not got great balance. He's going to be clunky. Yeah, it's not going to be worth all the skill and position trainers, is it? But yeah, like I say, as a centre forward for some people, it could be a useful option, primarily for an English League squad, maybe for a Netherlands squad. But yeah, for a 5-star contract, I'm not impressed. We've had better versions of this guy. There are one or two attributes, no matter which way you train him, that just aren't where I'd want as high as I'd want them to be. So yes, some decent attributes and some decent skills there, but not the best version of him. And for a 5-star contract, in my opinion, it's not a brilliant card. And again, based on the fact we've had 3 versions of him not that long ago, not a good choice to put in the pack. And next we've got Paulo Dybala. We've also had a lot of versions of this guy over the course of time. So he's got a face scan, he's a creative playmaker SS. Again, they've not changed. I don't think any of these cards have had anything changed in terms of their position, the playing style, skills, and all the rest. So yeah, he's got his usual playing style and position. Unwavering form, that's generous. Skill-wise, pretty much what you expect from Dybala. It would be nice if he had some passing skills on a playmaker. One-touch pass and through pass would be the first 2 skills I'd like to put on him, but he's got a first-time shot. Got long-range curler. Yeah, he's got some good skills there, but like I say, the passing skills will be the first one I'd like to put on him. It's going to depend on where you use him, what position you play him in. But yeah, as I mentioned, we've had a lot of versions of Dybala. His Showtime and Legend versions, obviously the best versions we've had of him. Had a bunch of Player of the Week versions of Dybala as well. They all look a bit better than this one. We've had quite a few better highlight cards as well, although there are a few that are around the same level as well. So yeah, not similar to Zirkzee really. It's not the best version. We've had a lot of versions of Dybala, and most of them are better than this one really, sadly. And it's not the most exciting boost either from his GP card. They've taken 2 points off his ball control. Why? They've taken 1 point off his balance. Why? And you're not going to believe this, they've taken a few points off his heading and his jumping. I'm really glad they took the time to plan this out and take a few points off his heading and jumping. That's going to make all the difference one way or another, I guess, somehow. What are they doing? But they have boosted some stats, thankfully. +5 on low pass, that's the biggest boost, and that's an interesting one. On any kind of creative playmaker, it's nice to have a decent passing. So a boost on his low pass is good. A few points added here and there on a few other stats, but yeah, not the most exciting boost really. But let's find out how good he is. Let's go over to the hub. Let's train him up. So he is, yeah, still decent. So like I say, compared to previous versions of Dybala, of which we've had quite a few, it's not the most exciting. It's not a brilliant version of him. I think it's just one of these cards where if you're a fan of the guy and you've somehow not got a version of him already, it could be a really nice pickup for you because it's still a good card. But it's not the best one though. It's not got a great deal of speed. It's certainly lacking stamina. He's going to get tired. I wouldn't have said physical contact of 68 is that bad for this type of player a year ago, but it seems like they're hiking that up a bit. I think the power creep seems to be focusing on some stats more than others, and a lot of attacking players and wingers who used to have that level of strength have got a bit more now, getting up into the 70s. So I would consider that a little bit weak now. Maybe I'm being harsh, I don't know, but he's nice on the ball though, and depending where you play him, you could argue the end products are right, but yeah, it does depend where you're going to play him though. That's the thing. So let's just start attacking midfield and we'll work our way forward. So attacking midfield, we'll go with auto allocation first, and that's going to tell us, yeah, okay, let's just fix that low pass, get to the magic 90 mark, which doesn't actually do anything. It just looks nicer, but yeah, you can make him pretty nice on the ball, nice passing. He will need those passing skills as an attacking midfielder, one-touch pass and through passing. Based on the lack of strength, I would give him fighting spirit as well, because as an attacking midfielder, you're going to have strong defensive midfielders around him, muscling him off the ball. So yeah, one-touch pass, through passing, fighting spirit, I think those would all be well worth putting on him if you're going to use him as an attacking midfielder. But You can certainly make him pretty nice on the ball and with his passing. Not a great deal else you could do, really. You could maybe nick a couple of points from elsewhere if you wanted to get his finishing up a little bit. Get up to 80. Is that worth it as an attacking midfielder? I think if you gave him long-range shooting, it might be. But that's a matter of opinion. Some might say that the shooting is not so important. You might prefer to leave those points on his either his speed or his acceleration, maybe. But yeah, as an attacking midfielder, you can make him fairly nice. A bit further forward as an SS. Is the passing a bit less important, maybe? If you think it's still just as important, then just go with that build. Obviously, you can build him how you want, but I would just go with something like that build. If you consider that passing is not quite as important as an SS, you could nick some points back from his passing there. And you could put them on finishing. That makes the most sense, doesn't it? Maybe just do that. Yeah, that's a fairly tidy build as an SS. It could definitely be a pretty tidy option there. Again, though, the passing skills would be very important. And then these wide positions, I don't think many people want to play Dybala on the left as a left footer. You could, I guess, but you're not going to give him particularly good crossing, even with if you give him the pinpoint crossing skill. But yeah, wide right, though, you don't need any position trainers for that. Dybala wide right, he has played there, of course, over the years. Could do with a bit more pace, maybe. Where can we get some pace from? Passing, not so important. In fact, you could take all those points off passing. I think that low pass is still okay for a wide man. Is that worth doing? Arguably, maybe. Maybe let's just do that. He's probably not quite got the pace to be a wide man, but he's certainly not slow. So yeah, speed and acceleration up into the high 80s there. Good kicking power behind his shots. Finishing up to the 80 mark. Loads of curl in his shots as well. He's got long range curler, so yeah, wide right could be an option if that playing style works for you. I've said it a million times. I don't like playmakers out wide, but that's just me. If that playing style is alright for you on a wide forward, could be handy. Excuse me. Yeah, it could be pretty handy wide right. So that's an option. He's already position trained. He's already got long range curler, first time shot. You might still want to give him a couple of passing skills, but yeah, could be a decent option wide right. Not an amazing one, like I say. I think most people would probably want a little bit more pace. Maybe it's a bit more balance. Maybe it's even a bit more finishing, but yeah, could certainly be an option there. And then centre forward is the other position you've got. So centre forward, I'm going to do it manually. I'm not going to auto allocate. I just don't trust auto allocation. Might be a struggle to get that shooting up. Yeah, you can get up into +3 territory at least, but you can't do a great deal beyond that, really. Yeah, it could be an option. He could be an option. For a striker, decent on the ball. Awareness and finishing, kind of okay-ish, but not amazing. The passing, in terms of the stat, not bad at all for a centre forward. But if you want to make the most of that, I would give him those passing skills. Then, in terms of his pace, yes, the acceleration is good. He's up to 90 for acceleration and balance now because he put those points on dexterity, but the speed's a little bit lacking. And he's not got a great deal of strength. You've got to remember, if you're going to play this guy as a centre forward, he's up against centre backs. Centre backs are going to have a lot of physical strength. So, yeah, he might get found out a bit physically. But yeah, like I say, there are some decent stats there. Certainly some I'd like to be a bit higher, but he's got first time shot. He's got long range curler. So you could certainly do worse. It could be an option for you. So there's a few ways you can use this Dybala card. I'll leave him on auto allocation as an SS. It's not the best version of him, as I've said. We've had a lot of Dybala cards. Most of them are better than this one. But if somehow you don't already have a Dybala card and you want one, it could certainly be a very nice pickup. I personally feel like he's one of these players in game that you kind of, I wouldn't say you necessarily love him or hate him, but some people really, really like him in game. But quite a lot of people just don't really find they get much out of him. I've had a couple of Dybala cards and they're not bad cards, but I've never really, when I'm building my squad for the Italian League Challenge, I've never really looked at Dybala and thought, oh, Dybala's in form. I must put him in my squad. I never really rushed to play him. He just hasn't really ever done anything special for me. But there are people who really like him in game. So if you are one of them and you've not already got a Dybala card, it could be a handy pickup. But like I say, we've had a lot of Dybala cards and most of them are better than this one. So it's another, in my opinion, bad choice of a card to put in the pack based on how many versions we've had of him already. And it's not a brilliant version of him, but if you're a Dybala fan without a Dybala card, happy days, you've got one now, and it's certainly not a bad one, even if it's not the best version of him. And next we have another Morgan Rogers card. How many Morgan Rogers cards have we had over the past year? 5? It's got to be at least 5. So he's got his face scan. He's a whole player as he normally is. Not always. He's had a classic 10. And I think deep line forward, player of the week card. On raving form. Got a bunch of positions you can play him in. Whole player playing style will be active left mid, right mid, attacking mid. It won't be active as a wide forward. You can obviously play him there though without a playing style though. And then skill wise, not a lot of skills here. You've got some of the most important ones. You've got one touch and through. If you play him as an attacking mid, they'll be important. Low range curl, if you play off the left wing, that's an important one. Soul control's nice. Scissors feint, not so nice. Double touch, popular. Low lofted pass, yeah, you got some decent ones there. Could maybe do with a few more, but he's got some of the most important ones at least. But yeah, we've had a lot of Rodgers cards. Let's get over to the hub before we start going any deeper. So yeah, how good's this one? It's decent. It looks decent. He's had a Showtime card. That's obviously the best version we've had of Rodgers. It's fairly similar, this one, overall to his better Player of the Week cards. Generally speaking, if you look at his Player of the Week cards, you've got a little bit more on his on-the-ball attributes and a little bit less physical contact, but on the whole, yeah, fairly similar overall level. Obviously, they shuffle the points around from one Player of the Week card to the next. We've had a few highlight versions of Morgan Rodgers. This is pretty close to the best previous one, to be honest. It's a solid version of Rodgers. It's a very mixed boost they've given him. They've taken 1 point away from his lofted pass. They've taken 3 points off his stamina. They've taken 1 point off his tackling. Oh no, that's a disaster. The biggest boosts on his attributes are acceleration, kicking power. Yeah, those two got the biggest boost really. They put nothing on his dribbling, which on the face of it might be a bit harsh, but considering it goes up to 92 auto allocated and it's his highest attribute, yeah, I think we can live with that. So yeah, on the whole, I think you just got a solid version of Rodgers. Could do with a bit more speed maybe, but he's auto allocated as an AMF here. They've only got up to 7 on lower body. As an AMF, he's looking decent, to be fair. I'll be tempted again to nudge a bit off his on-the-ball attributes and see if we can get nudges low pass up to the 90 mark. Can I get 2 more points from somewhere? Yes, I can. Bosh. Yeah, if you really want to get that pass up a bit, you can nudge it even higher possibly as well. But nice to be 90 plus and all the on-the-ball attributes. Yeah, that to me looks like a fairly tidy attacking mid. I don't think you're really particularly lacking anywhere. Do you need a bit more balance? Maybe, but he's physically quite strong as he always is. Not as strong as he has been on some previous cards. He's got a bit of pace, a little bit of kicking power. The finishing's at 80, and that's with only 3 points allocated to his finishing. We've nudged that passing up a bit. He's nice on the ball. Good attacking range for a whole player. Yeah, as an attacking mid, he actually looks pretty useful. Could be pretty handy there. Like I say, it's the solid version of him. Stats have been shuffled around a bit from one version of him to the next, though. I wouldn't use him as a centre mid. I always say the same thing. This is an attacking player. You can't defend. Why would you waste him at centre midfield? You might as well make him an attacking midfielder. Make the most of what he's actually good at. You've got left mid and right mid. I'll look at him as an SS first. As an SS, I'll do the same kind of thing as I just did with Dybala. So if you were considering that as an SS, passing is not as important. Leave him on 8 for passing there. Only frees up 6 points, to be fair. I'll go to 4 on shooting. I'll just, what will I do? Just beef up his dexterity a bit, to be honest. Higher attacking range with the whole player playing style if you're going to play him as an SS. I think as an SS, again, that looks pretty tidy. Could definitely be a handy one to have there. Passing not as important, but it's still decent. 88 low pass. And he does have one touch and through there. Finishing over 80 still. Attacking range up to mid-80s. Yeah, as an SS with the whole player playing style, could be handy. Is it worth the position trainers? Maybe, maybe not. Not sure. But let's look at the wide positions now. So wide right, they've obviously taken 1 point away from his lofted pass, so apparently they don't want us to use him on the right and put crosses in, but you could do that if you gave him pinpoint crossing. Would his crossing be particularly good? No. So is it worth it? I don't know. With the whole player playing style, he's not just going to get up and down the touchline. He's not a cross specialist. He will drift inside at times, take up some interesting positions, so it's not just about crossing. So yeah, he could still be effective off the right. I think he'd be probably more effective off the left. He's got long range curler. He's obviously got one touch through and through as well. As a left mid, I don't think passing is going to be anywhere near as important. You already have 80 for finishing. I think we just want to give him a bit more pace, don't we? Would I just do that? Probably. I would probably just do that. Again, like with Dybala, I'd like more pace than a wide man, but he's not slow. He does have pretty decent balance. He's got a bit of strength about him. He's going to be pretty good on the ball. That's one thing with Rodgers. Pretty much everyone says the same thing with Rodgers, is that he's really good on the ball because he's technically good. He's got a bit of pace and mobility, but he's physically strong as well. His ball carrying is really good, Rodgers. So yeah, I've had at least, I think, about 3 Rodgers cards up to this point already. I've got the Player of the Season one from the Premier League Player of the Season pack. He's very tidy. He's good on the ball, and like I say, physically strong on the ball as well, which not all wingers are. I use him primarily as a left winger, left midfield with the whole player playing style. Very effective. It's a very strong card. This one's not a million miles away, to be honest. Maybe it's not as good, but it's still a good one. It's a good version. I think as a wide midfielder, he's got enough end product, and like I say, the ball carrying is going to be good. So yeah, it could be a handy option out wide. Like I say, though, much more effective left than right, in my opinion. Albeit it could still do a job off the right for sure. And then centre forward's the last position we got here. Can you make him a striker? What's auto allocation going to tell us? I'll take the lazy option this time. It's going to tell us you could do worse. You have to 12 dexterity. Is there scope for improving his shooting a bit? Maybe. I think this is one of those rare cases where I'd be inclined to just leave him as he is, to be honest. It'd be nice to nudge that low pass up to the 80 mark, actually. I'll just nick a sneaky point of aerial. Just looks nicer, doesn't it? Yeah, he could be an interesting option as a centre forward. Obviously, no active playing style there. And obviously, the awareness and finishing could be better, but they're not too bad. They're not too bad. You're into +3 territory. You're not a million miles away from the 90 mark. For a striker, he's all right on the ball. One touch and through. Skills to back up his low pass, which is 80, so that's good passing for a centre forward. Got a bit of pace, even if the speed's maybe is a little bit lacking. Bit of strength, good balance. You could do a lot worse if you really need a striker in any given week, either in general or especially for the English League Challenge. He does need maybe 1-2 skills to play centre forward. First time shot is the obvious one, but yeah, you've definitely got plenty of strengths there. I think as a centre forward, it could be an option if you consider it's worth the position and skill trainers to really fully equip him for that position. But you do have that option, so it's certainly a versatile card. I'll just leave one as auto allocation there. So yeah, again, it's not the most exciting choice because you've had a bunch of Rodgers cards, including at least one free one. There's one in that, when was it now? A few months back, they did that weird pack with English and Portuguese players with selection contracts. So if anyone who's been playing the game for more than a few months had any interest in having a Rodgers card, you would have chosen to pick him up with one of your selection contracts. So I'm not sure how many people really need this version of him, but yeah, as far as I can see, this is a tiny bit better than that version, to be fair. There's very little difference though. But yeah, it's a solid version of him. It is at least comparable to a fair few of his previous versions. So if you somehow don't have a Rodgers card and you want one, it could be a very nice pickup. He's versatile. You can use him in the English League Challenge, unwavering form, some decent skills there. And yeah, wherever you use him, got a bit of pace and mobility, good on the ball, bit of physical strength as well, and some end product. Handy, versatile. Yeah, it might not be the most exciting choice of someone to put in this pack, but just to look at it objectively in terms of how good it is, it's a pretty good card that for a 5-star contract, if you somehow don't have a Rodgers card and you want one, could be pretty good value for you. And from one card that we've had a million previous versions of, well, not a million with Rodgers, we've had a few though, certainly recently. But we come to another one where we've had a lot of Ferran Torres cards, and I mean we have had a lot of cards of a lot of Ferran Torres cards. So we've got a face guy as a roaming flank as he usually is. I like that playing style. It's a really interesting one on wide midfielders and wide forwards. They drift into the middle, take up some very interesting positions. But yeah, we've had a lot of Ferran Torres cards. We've had loads of Player of the Week cards, and we've had a whole bunch of Player of the Week cards, and they tend to be better than this one. But a lot of highlights as well. This one is not one of the best as a wing, although as a striker, this one actually trains up pretty well, to be fair. It's one of the better striker versions. He's not the most exciting boost from his GP card. They've taken 1 point off lofted pass again, like with Morgan Rodgers. They've taken 2 points off his defensive engagement. Well, that just ruins the card, doesn't it? They boosted his finishing by 3. I was expecting him to be more than that, because when I looked at him trained up, he looked like one of the better versions of him as a striker, but they've only put 3 points on finishing, it seems. And his biggest boost is 8 on physical contact, so maybe not the most exciting one, but it does make a difference. That will help, especially if you play him up front when he's up against big, strong centre-backs. But let's go train Ferran up. Let's get onto the hub. And as you can see, he's all right. Not the most exciting winger. He's got some good attributes there, but yeah, he's not exactly one that's crying out to have a 5-star contract used on him. And again, especially since we've had a lot of previous versions, we've had at least one free version of as well of Torres. Maybe that was when Barca won the league, if my memory serves me correctly. So yeah, again, as a choice of player to put in this pack, I don't think it's a very good one. Quite an annoyingly bad one. But again, to look at it in isolation, is it a good card? Yeah, it's a decent one. It's a handy one. You can play him on the left, you can play him on the right. He's one of these cards who he's got pinpoint crossing, but his lofted pass is terrible, so he can't cross the ball. I don't think I fancy him too much on the right, but again, he's a roaming flank, so a roaming flank will drift inside, take up some interesting positions. If you put him on the right, he's not just going to be hugging the touchline and looking to cross the ball all the time, so you certainly can play him on the right, but I think off the left flank could be a bit more effective. A little bit surprised he's not got long range curler, actually. I feel like he deserves to have that. So if you do play him as a left winger, I think long range curler will be worth giving him. There's definitely something up with eFootball because, again, I don't think he had the track back, did he? Let's just have a quick jump back to the game. Yeah, he's not got track back. Is that the only error? I think that's the only error. So yeah, he's not got track back, but these other skills though, he does have through passing, soul control, heel check. Yeah, he's got some decent skills there. He's a super sub as well. Could be a very handy super sub to have. If you're going to play him as a striker, you definitely want to give him first time shot. But yeah, he's got some decent skills there. It just depends where you play him. Like I say, as a winger, as a wide man, it's not the best version. We've had quite a few better versions of Torres over the course of time. He's certainly not bad as a winger. I mean, it'd be nice if we can just nudge his speed up to the 90 mark. Got one on defending there for some reason. I'd much rather that was on physical contact. Yeah, passing's not great. He does have the through passing skill, but his low and lofted pass aren't great. But the finishing's decent. He's decent on the ball. He's got pretty good pace. Bit of kicking power behind his shots. The bounce is all right. Bit more physical contact than he normally has. I think that's +8 on his physical contact compared to his GP card, and his attacking race is good. That does complement his roaming flank playing style well. So yeah, there are some qualities there. He's handy. In my personal experience, I've had a few Ferran Torres cards, and they always do well for me. If he's got form in any given week when we get the Spanish League Challenge, he's always in my squad. I do like Ferran Torres. He's a handy one. I've used him on the right. I've used him on the left. I've used him up front. Handy guy. He's got a bit of everything except the passing, obviously. But yeah, he's a tidy one with some good movement, and he can finish. But yeah, like I say, it's not the best version of him as a winger, unfortunately. But as a striker, he does look decent. In fact, I'll just rule out attacking mid and SS first because he's not going to make his passing good enough for attacking mid. We'll just show you auto allocation. So auto allocation up to 8 on passing, 78 for low pass. Horrible, not good enough. As an SS, could you get away with it? I mean, maybe. Let's just have a little look. Can we get 1 point from somewhere? Get 2. Yeah, as an SS, passing is not as important as AMF. I'd still say that's a bit on the low side, low pass. He does have through passing right out of the box. Not one touch pass, you might want to give him that, but he's got through passing at least. As an SS, he could work. He won't have an active playing style, but there are some decent qualities there. Maybe he'd be all right there, but is it worth the position trainers to make him fully proficient as an SS? I would suggest probably not. But like I say, the last position striker, I had a quick look before I did started doing this video, and as a striker, it's one of the better versions of him. So kind of similar to Rodgers with the awareness and finishing. They're not quite as high as I'd like them to be, but they're not a million miles away. And again, not bad on the ball. He's got a bit of pace about him. Certainly the acceleration is fantastic at 95. Bounce is pretty decent now. He's got a little bit of strength about him. Can we boost that shooting a little bit? I reckon we can. In fact, we're not far away from getting his shooting up to the 90 mark. Would be nice, but yeah, we can do that, can't we? Just about. Put the last one back on passing. Yeah, he could make him decent as a striker. Like I say, statistically, it's one of the better versions of him as a striker. You would need that first time shot skill though, and you might want to give him long range curl as well. It's a bit of a shame he's lacking that. Maybe his acrobatic finishing on top of that, but yeah, he does have some decent skills, and certainly as a striker, he could be very usable. So it's another one of his cards. He's versatile. A few ways you can use him: wide left, wide right, centre forward. I do like the roaming flank playing style, and I think the stats he's got come together fairly nicely to make him pretty usable. Could be a pretty handy option for your Spanish League squad. I'll leave him on auto allocation as a winger. It's not the best version of Ferran as a winger. We've had quite a few versions of him, and a lot of them are better as a winger. But he measures up a bit better as a centre forward. So yeah, like I say, it depends which way you look at it. And I think a lot of people at this point, if you do like Ferran Torres, have probably already got a version of him, because there was at least one free version, I think, and there have been that many in Player of the Week and so on. So another choice for this pack, which I just don't think is very good. There are that many players I could have chosen from, but it's certainly not a bad card. If you somehow avoided getting a Ferran Torres card and you like a roaming flank, or you like Ferran Torres in real life, it could be a pretty hang on to pick up. Even if it's not the best version of him as a winger, he's still a handy winger. But certainly as a centre forward, it is one of the better versions of him. So yeah, again, not the most exciting choice, but it could be a handy one for your Spanish League squad. A few ways you can use him. He's got that versatility, and he's certainly got some ability there. So yeah, not the most exciting choice, but it could be a handy card for some people at least. And now we've got Lautaro Martínez, the deep lying forward. So this is another card where we've had a million versions of Lautaro, but this one at least does have a different playing style to most of his previous cards because he's not often been a deep line forward. He's only had 1 or 2 deep line forward cards previously. If you like that playing style, that could make this card a very interesting one. Albeit if you don't like that playing style so much, like me, it's not so interesting. But he's got a face scan, he's got unwavering form. You can of course use him in the Italian League Challenge. And then skill-wise, as you expect, some good skills on him. Again, long-range curler is probably the first one you want to put on him. He's got through passing as a deep line forward. That's an important skill to have. Could do with one-touch pass maybe. But yeah, through passing and long-range shooting, good ones on a deep line forward. He's got acrobatic finishing, first-time shot. Any kind of striker would need those skills, especially first-time shot. Heading, I always say it, Lautaro deceptively good in the air. He is small. He's not got amazing jumping, but he just somehow seems to get on the end of crosses, and he's got a good header on him in my personal experience. So I think he just outplays his stats a little bit in the air for some reason, but that could be placebo, I don't know. But yeah, he got a good selection of skills there. Maybe it's 1 or 2 that he needs, but a good start skill-wise. But let's train him up. Let's go over to the hub. How good is he? He is all right. We've had a lot of Lautaro cards. We've had Showtime and Legend versions, which are obviously the best versions of him. To be honest, if you look at all of his Player of the Week cards, of which there are quite a few, he's pretty similar overall to most of his Player of the Week cards, but that's before the boost. He's got several Player of the Week cards that have a booster, and when those boosters are activated on A form, they're better than this one. And he's had a lot of highlight cards. He's had loads of highlight cards, and there are a whole bunch of them that are slightly better than this one. But like I was saying when we first started looking at him just now, that deep line forward playing style, most of his previous cards are a poacher or a fox in the box. Those previous highlights aren't deep line forwards. So if you like that playing style, this could be a very nice version of Lautaro, even if it's not the best version of him statistically. He's had a pretty mixed boost again from his GP card. They've taken 2 points away from his attacking awareness. They've taken 1 point off his finishing. Why? Why? Is 90 too high? Why have they done that? And again, you won't believe this, but they've nerfed his heading and jumping a bit. They've taken a few points off his heading and his jumping. Again, why? 1 point off his stamina. Of course, that makes perfect sense. Why would they not do that? A decent boost on the ball, though. They've not put anything on his low pass. That's annoying. So he's recently become a deep line forward. And this is, I think, his first highlight card as a deep line forward, but they've not boosted his low pass at all. That's an important stat for a deep line forward, and it's not good enough. Why would they not boost it a bit? That's very, very, very annoying. So, yeah, straight away, that kind of lets the card down a little bit. You've got to keep in mind, I mean, auto allocation doesn't pay any attention to the playing style as far as I'm aware. It just looks at the position and just says, right, awareness, finishing, bit of pace, whatever else. They usually go to 4 on aerial strength, which I have done again. So, yeah, they've obviously only put 1 point on passing, but as a deep line forward, he needs passing. He's going to be dropping deep, getting involved in the build-up. And that passing for me is just a bit iffy. He does have through passing, to be fair, which does help a lot with his through passes at least. But yeah, all right on the ball. He's got long range shooting, but the passing for me is the concern as a deep line forward. It's not the end of the world. On a deep line forward, you can just kind of, if he drops off and kind of receives the ball to feet, you don't have to pass the ball. You don't have to play him it. You can just pop off some long shots or carry the ball maybe. But yeah, passing is a letdown for me. But certainly, if you do want to start kind of popping off shots from range. Finishing 89 might not be amazing, but it's decent enough with a bit of kicking power behind his shots as well, which he doesn't always have. And the long range shooting skill there. Depending on how you use him, he could be decent still as a deep line forward. But yeah, that passing, not to harp on about it, but it's just not high enough. I don't know why they've not boosted that at all. It just seems like a really bad decision. But yeah, the speed is kind of okay for a deep line forward. It's not massively important. It's a lot more important if he had a different playing style like Goal Poacher, for example. Acceleration's great, balance is good, bit of physical strength on him. Attack awareness is good, even if they've nerfed it slightly. The finishing is kind of good enough, but annoying they've taken 1 point off. I don't understand why they've done that. I guess they just enjoy annoying us. But yeah, it's just that passing really for me. When you factor in the playing style, the passing for me is the one thing that lets him down a bit. It's a bit of a shame, but can we boost that a bit? I'm not sure where you can really afford to take the points for. I wouldn't want to dip too much low on the speed and the kicking power. I wouldn't want to dip too much low on the dexterity. I don't see that many points we can realistically afford to spare, really. But if you really wanted to get the passing up a bit, you could take all 4 off aerial. You could dip a bit off it on his dexterity there, maybe. If you really want to make his passing better, we can nearly get it to 80. I bet you can. Yeah, you can. Is that worth doing? Probably can just do that, make him a bit better on the ball again, can't we? I mean, he looks a lot less exciting when you don't have as many stats hitting the 90 mark. But again, I mean, it's not like a magic threshold. It's just shows he's not that high rated a card. But if you do really want to get that passing up, dipping a bit on the awareness and the finishing there, he's still tidying up in most areas there. But if you want to get that passing up, that's probably what I'd be tempted to do on a deep line forward. Does it look like a particularly exciting version of him that way? No, like I say, you got a lot of stats that dip down into the 80s there. I mean, the highest stats are at 88, so not too exciting looking, but you do get that low pass up to 80 with through passing. So on a deep line forward, I think that could actually be more effective, especially as an SS, but even as a centre forward, because a deep line forward will be dipping, getting involved in the build up a lot. But if you're not too bothered about the passing, like I say, it depends how you use him. You could easily just leave him on auto allocation. If the passing doesn't bother you too much, maybe you use PA1 or Smart Assist, I don't know. But if that passing doesn't really bother you, the finishing's okay, the awareness is good, he's all right on the ball. Down the right there athletically, he's pretty tidy. So I think that this is one of these cards. It's going to come down to the playing style for you. If you like a deep line forward and you like Lautaro, this could be a really, really nice card to pick up, as long as you're not too bothered about the passing. Albeit, like I just did there, you can shuffle some points around, get the passing up a bit. But yeah, that playing style might make the difference, because he's as far as I can see, I think he's had one player of the week cards at a deep line forward. I don't remember any other versions of them that were deep line forward. So if you like Lautaro and you like that playing style, this could be a great pickup. But if you're not that big a fan of that playing style, or if you're just not that bothered about Lautaro, or even if you are and you've got a previous version, and let's be honest, if you've been playing the game for any length of time, you've more than likely picked up at least one Lautaro card, because there have been so many in player of the week. I think there's at least one free one when into won the league, maybe something like that. But yeah, another choice for this pack, which I think is just not a particularly good one based on how many versions we've had of him. But at least with this one, since he's not had a card, as far as I'm aware, since they changed his playing style, it is a bit of a rare one to have a deep line forward Lautaro. But like I say, the passing kind of lets him down in terms of that playing style. So there's a few negatives about him. Now we've had quite a few better versions of him, but it's still a Lautaro card. It's still a good one. If you want a Lautaro card, you don't have one, it'll be a good one to pick up. And if you want a Lautaro card and you really like the deep line forward playing style, it could be a great pickup for you. So depends which way you look at it. For some people, maybe it's not the most exciting one, but I think there'll be at least a few people who you might find this to be a really nice card to pick up for one of your 5-star contracts. And finally, another guy we've had a million versions of before, albeit he's shrunk. He used to be, was it 189 centimeters? But apparently Cole Palmer has shrunk. He's quite young to be shrinking in height, but yeah, for whatever reason, they've taken a few centimeters off his height. Got a face scan, creative playmaker, attacking mid, got a few positions, unwavering form, can use him in the English Sheet Challenge. If for some bizarre reason you used to crossband for this guy, you'll probably be disappointed that he's not as tall as he used to be. But if you prefer to get him on the ball in these midfield positions out wide or attacking mid, that probably will help the slight reduction in his height, because he is a bit leggy, Cole Palmer. He does always feel a bit leggy. He's not the most nimble on the ball. So yeah, maybe that reduction in height will help, to be fair. Good searching skills, as you'd expect. A few shooting, a few passing. Soul control, pretty much what you'd expect from Cole Palmer. He's got most of the skills he needs. Pretty good skill set there. Let's just jump over to the hub and train him up. Let's see how good this version of him is. There have been a lot of versions of him. Sadly, again, it's another one where, in my opinion, it's just a really, really, really bad choice, because we just don't need another Cole Palmer card. So yeah, we've had a showtime, we've had a big time. Obviously, those are the best versions of Palmer, but his better player of the week cards are a bit better than this one. He's had a bunch of highlight cards. It looks like most of them are a bit better than this one, although this is a bit better than the one that was in the penalty game, to be fair. And the one that was in was it a free one from some kind of England pack? He was in that pack with Morgan Rogers, I think, wasn't he? The one where we got selection contracts, we got to choose who we got. Fairly similar to this one overall, I think, but there is quite a bit of shuffling around of points, and obviously he's not always 185 centimeters. He used to be taller than that. And if you compare him to his GP card at level 1, it's a pretty disappointing boost, to be honest. It's not a particularly great boost. They've taken 3 points off his heading, would you believe it? They've taken a few points off his stamina and his tackling as well. Why? I don't know. Biggest boost is physical contact, plus 10 physical contact compared to his GP card. Apart from that, there's hardly anything of note, really. Loads of stats, including significant stats, attacking stats, only up by 1 or 2, or some of them none. It's really not a particularly great boost they've given him. Like I say, it's mainly the physical contact, which did need a boost, to be fair, so that is good. But yeah, outside of that, not a lot going on really. But it's still a good card. Again, it's just one of these ones where not the most exciting version, but in isolation, it is still a good card. It is going to depend where you play him. Again, I'm not going to bother training for centre mid because I just think you're balmy if you use Cole Palmer as a centre mid. As an attacking mid though, again, the auto allocation doesn't always go that high on passing. I find that strange. Passing for me is super important on an attacking midfielder. And you've got loads of points on the ball there. I think I'll go straight to that, straight to his on the ball stats, nick some points from there, get the passing up a bit. The finishing's already over 80. Good acceleration there. Could be nudges, lofted pass up a bit. Is it worth it? Do we really need to? Probably not. If you do like to play a lot of chip through balls, then maybe it is worth it. So then you could maybe just do that. Yeah, that could be a nice build. Not got amazing speed. I don't think everybody has amazing speed, but the acceleration is pretty decent. A bit of kick power behind his shots. The balance is all right. He does need good balance. He's a tall guy. He does feel a bit leggy, albeit not as tall as he used to be. He got that boost with physical contact, which will be welcome. Very nice on the ball, even though he just nicked a few points from there. Pretty nice passing. The finishing is over 80. The attacking rest is in the mid 80s. That's good. Yeah, as an attacking mid, pretty tidy. One of the better versions of Palmer? No, but still a solid one. If you move a bit further up the pitch, if you just go back to auto allocation, to be honest, the auto allocation might be a nice build for SS, really. A few ways you could swing it. If you just want him to be really nice on the ball, you could just leave those stats where they are. For me personally, when a player's quite tall and leggy, yes, he's not as tall as he normally is, but even now at 6'1", he's still going to feel a little bit leggy. I find that there's not a lot of point putting those on the ball attributes too high. I don't feel like it makes that much difference. They're never going to feel that nimble. So I personally be inclined to nick at least a few points off there, but it's a question of where you put them, because you could well argue that passing's not as important in SS, so 88 will be fine. I think you can certainly get away with that quite easily at SS. Maybe you want to put a load more on his finishing, get his finishing higher, or maybe you want a bit more speed on him. A few ways you could swing it, a bit more kicking power behind his shots maybe. That's certainly not a bad idea. A few ways you could do it. Yeah, maybe something like that could work well. That looks like quite a nice build actually, yeah. A few ways you can do it, whether it's attack mid or SS, whether you want to focus on the passing, make his shooting better. Yeah, there's a few ways you could do it. He does look pretty tidy. Centre forward, I know one or two previous versions of Palmer could be very usable as a centre forward. Let's do it manually this time, shall we? We'll leave 1 point on passing, so his low passes at 80. Oh, is it going to... Oh, it is going to be one of these Cole Palmer cards. It could be a striker. Hello. Yeah, that is quite interesting, actually. That could be an interesting striker. He's got first-time shot. He's got long-range curler. Yeah, he's got some nice skills there. His passing will be nice for a striker. Awareness and finishing up to 90. Tidy enough on the ball for a striker. Decent pace. Kicking power behind his shots. Bit of balance. A little bit of strength compared to what he normally has, at least. Could be an option. He won't have an active playing style, but outside of that, in terms of the ability and the skills, he could actually be a pretty effective striker for you. So that is an option. You could make him a striker, so he's looking like another versatile one. I wouldn't position train him for the left. He might need 1,000 position trainers. His crossing won't be very good. But wide right, he certainly could play him there. He's already pretty proficient. He's got long range curler. He's got the passing skills. What would I do for wide right? I would give him more speed. I would certainly give him more speed. Let's nick a bit off his finishing. And then we'll just go up to 12 low body. It's not worth going higher. If you really wanted to hit that 90 up for speed, you could nick one of those points off. In fact, no, we need him better on the ball, don't we? Forget I even said that. Right, okay, this might be tricky, actually. I think... Well, maybe if you took a bit off his finishing, well, I don't know. I mean, you could if you really wanted to get the speed to 90. Does it matter? Again, it's not a magic threshold. It's nice to get them into 90 plus. But, yeah, 4 points to get that last increase, not worth it. I would do... Yeah, I think I'd do that. I'd probably settle on something like that if I'm going to play him wide right. So the passing's okay for wide right. He's got one touch and through. Finishing up to 85. He's got a nice amount of curl. Great kicking power as well. He's got first time shot, long range curler, long range shooting. He's going to have a finish on him. He's got a bit of pace, reasonable amount of balance, pretty tidy on the ball, very good attacking awareness. Yeah, wide right could be effective. So yeah, a few ways you can use this Palmer card as a number 10, whether it's attacking mid or SS, whether you focus more on the passing, the shooting, or on the ball. You can shuffle the points around. This is one of the cards in the pack where you do have enough points to shuffle around, where you can make him pretty decent just about everywhere. You can make him an effective striker if you wanted to do that, and certainly can make him pretty effective wide right. So yeah, it's not an amazing one. We'll just leave him on auto allocation again. As I mentioned with a lot of these cards, we've had a lot of Cole Palmer cards. I don't really think it's a particularly good choice, like half the cards in this pack, so a bit disappointing in that regard. But if you don't have a Palmer card and you want one, or if you've always wanted a Cole Palmer card who's not quite so tall, happy days, because he's shrunk. But yeah, it's plenty to be said for this card. Certainly if you look at it in isolation, you ignore the fact we've had so many previous versions, because if you don't have a Palmer card so far and you want one, it could be a really nice card to have. He's versatile, unwavering form, can use him in the English League Challenge, got a good selection of skills. Plenty to be said for this card, really. So yeah, there have been a lot of versions. It is a boring choice in my opinion. I've got absolutely no interest in another Palmer card, but certainly if you do want a Palmer card for whatever reason, it is a very good one. It could well represent very good value for some people at least. So there is your, what's it called? I forgot what it's called. Signature Goal Celebrations pack. Yeah. In terms of the ability of these cards, it's alright. I don't think it's amazing. It's not terrible. There's some good players in there. Obviously, Palmer, Lautaro, Rogers, all good ones. Ferran Torres is pretty good. Dybala's pretty decent. Zirkzee, I don't think is that amazing for a 5-star. The 2 4-stars actually for a 4-star are actually alright. But obviously, like I always say, what's the point of a 4-star card? It's just a card that's not quite as good as most cards. But for a 4-star contract, the value you get from them is decent. I think both Saibari and Tanaka could be handy ones. If you've got 4-star contracts that need using up. So yeah, in terms of the ability of these cards, yeah, it's alright. Maybe it's not amazing, but it's certainly as good as most nominating contract packs. But it's just how interesting the pack is. How many people need a Cole Palmer card, a Morgan Rogers card, Lautaro, Ferran Torres, even Dybala. We've had that many versions. Zirkzee, we've had a couple of free ones. At least half the cards in this pack, we've had one or more free versions in the past year. And we've certainly had a lot of versions in Player of the Week and in other packs. There just aren't that many people in need of a version of most of these cards. I just think that the choices they're making, I seem to always rant about these packs, and I'm ranting even more and more with each pack they give us, because the choices they make are just so boring. I mean, just look at the players who've got a celebration in game. There could have been more interesting choices. You've got Matoma from Brighton. Brahim, I think, has got a celebration. Loriente's got a fun one. Raspadori, I think Angelino's got one. He'd been an interesting one. Patrick Schick. Pogba. Why not Pogba? Why not Paul Pogba? They know half the player base loves Paul Pogba. I don't particularly like him, but surely he'd have been a better choice. We only had that one random Player of the Week card that he didn't deserve over the past couple of years of Pogba. Why not put Pogba in? People would have been really excited to get a Pogba card, I'm sure. Even Lingard. Lingard's got a celebration. Lingard might have been a fun 4-star, but yeah, we get all these cards that we've had a million times, or at least a lot of them we've had a million times. I just think that the choices they're making these packs, it just feels like another brazen show of disdain for anyone who has the audacity to think they can get any enjoyment out of this game without spending money. I mean, could they not make it at least a little bit more fun for us? I don't know. I just find it a really, like I said the same thing with the mid-season MVPs last time. I just think it's a really, really boring pack when they could easily have made it more fun. I don't think making it more fun would really put that big of a dent in their absolutely exorbitant levels of profit. But that's just my opinion. I don't know. Maybe I'm just miserable and negative, but I'll be interested to know you guys' thoughts. Let me know what you think of this pack. Let me know who you plan to use your contracts on. I think with all these 5-stars, certainly, I don't think Zirkzee's too great, but I think certainly the other 5-stars are pretty decent. Just depends on what versions you've got of these players already. And I say versions because a fair few people have already got one or more than one version of some of these cards. But yeah, it just depends what you got and what value they're going to bring to your squad personally. But certainly for the 4s, I think both these guys, Saibari and Tanaka, could be valuable for a fair few people for a 4-star contract. We've certainly had worse 4-stars than both these guys. So yeah, there are some decent ones in there, at least for some people. But yeah, let me know what you think of this. Hopefully you found this useful. As I mentioned at the start, I've done the first player face video for the update. I've reviewed the regular Player of the Week pack. I'll be reviewing the Champions League Player of the Week pack next. There's a couple of packs. There's Dortmund. I think there's maybe Man U and Arsenal still in there. Got to get around to reviewing those at some point if I can find the time. And if I find the time, I might even do another stream over the weekend if you're lucky. So yeah, videos and maybe streams coming up. If you're not in the Discord already, jump in there as well. But for now, thank you for watching this. I do hope you found this useful. And otherwise, enjoy your weekends and take care of yourselves. I'll see you next time. Cheers for watching. Bye.